And good night. Hello, everybody, all 10 of you. Welcome to the big road trip. Amazing CM Kozeman live stream. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Amanyata. Hello, Digital Banyo. Hello, Blake. Hello, Boris. Hello, everybody. Hello, Popular. I've been around. I've been traveling like a traipsing little, I've just been roaming the land and just a second, just some last minute arrangements. Yeah, I've been roaming the land. I have been traveling to 2 Turkish cities and I opened an art exhibit and I took a lot of trains and shit. And now I'm back with you guys. I'm not here that much to talk about my travels and stuff, but I just missed streaming, I missed socializing. And why don't you just get in here right now, invite everybody you know. I'll just go out and check on a few things. I'll make me some tea. I'll get this night started. And while you are waiting, why don't you feast your eyes on these new watercolors? And I will be right with you. Oh, God damn it. Huh. Oh, hello, Hayden. Hello, Absent Fish. Hello, Easter Faust. Okay, call all your friends, go to your Discords, go to your WhatsApps, go to your whatever, and call everybody. Call your weird submarine crushes who like message you once a month and disappear. Send them this link. Get them a dose of their own medicine. Show them what it means to be weird. Hello, Noah. Hello, Polyps. Doing math homework. God help you. I was very bad with maths. Duck of a Pato says they are their own submarine crush. I guess okay then. Delta says hi, beef. All right, I'll be right back. Still fixing coffee and shit. Would you rather date this character or this character? Let me know. Oh. İşte böyle amına koyayım. Hello, hello, hello. Everybody likes the green bird. Well, okay. Hello, everybody, and good night, and welcome to the CM Kozman travel stream, where we will be talking about a lot of things. Today, I am joined by all 20 of you. So, hello, everybody. Hello, Alexandra Venegas. Blue Lady seems to be a delight to be with her in her water planet. Not as delighting as having you here. So nice. And we are also joined by Anonym, which I'm just going to bring in right now. Anneannem. Geldi bak kedi yedi anneannem. Çok yaşlı anneannem. Hello. Yes. This is Kadrina, the 16-year-old cat who's been with my parents for, 16 years. She's very nice and very hairy. So kafasını yapıyor anneannem. Küçük kafası varmış anneannem. I just love talking shit to this cat. I think you all do. If you have a cat, if you have a cat, you must talk shit to the cat and like softly abuse it from time to time, because then what's the point? Anneannem. She would never let me pet her. She would scratch my face, my arms, my fingers. But now that she's old, look at her. She's even purring. Oh, I guess all that anger was a cry for help all along. Alexandra Venegas correctly identifies the old age through her eyes, which have cataracts. Just look at those green LED displays. Kind of looks cool with this painting too, doesn't it? Duck of a Pato says, decrepit, beautiful child. Yes. Ciddi cat. Oh, last stream, I got some positive critiques for basically eating cat food from the same dish as anneannem. And I'll just go out and say, I could do it anytime I want. You are at my mercy. But I just choose not to. Tonight, anneannem. I just look anneannem. Me. 27 people in, and here I'm oogling a cat. Let's get the questions started. Blake Richardson says their cat decided to destroy their watercolor supplies yesterday. How? Did the cat go to it? God damn, some people can really like snip the stream and it will be really funny. Just a ball of hair. Oh, okay, let's put anneannem down. Yes, look at this. Let's put Kadrina down. No. You had it too good. Okay. Well, hello, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. There's been some debates about the aqua girl or the reptile. I don't know. Well, this reptile is in a sort of oubliette, which is like a pit in castles. They throw people down these pits and they just wait for them to die. These pits are never cleaned. It's just like a memory hole. I was going to say glory hole. A memory hole for people. You just disappear them. One of the dark facts about medieval Europe. So yes, how are you all doing? Cats are super cute, says Boris Chonev. Popular says, okay, Popular says he F's with the Blue Moon Girl, dude, be more kind. Be more kind and you will fuck more. Nice. Any opinion on The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells if you read it? I love it. It's one of my favorite science fiction books. The whole sense of inevitability and cataclysm that H.G. Wells sets up in that book, it's just of something else. Also, H.G. Wells in that book wrote a really good critique of over specialization and basically post industrial society. They could invade the whole planet, but they were too dumb to study microbes. They missed the forest for the trees, or vice versa. Very good. Drinking some apple tea. Glad to have seen you, says Alexandra. Well, glad to have seen you too. Blake Richardson says the cats put the watercolor all over the floor and the brushes just magically disappeared. Well, okay, I wasn't going to do this, but I am going to flex some watercolors now. In my travels, I have been to two different cities. One of them is called Ankara, the other is called Eskişehir. The thing about these cities is that they are to the east of Istanbul, and these cities import, Chinese goods by land or rail. So they actually, to give a comparison, this is my daily watercolor set. I carry this with me wherever I go, even if I don't need to paint that day. So wherever I go, I carry these sketch pads basically and these watercolors because you never know when inspiration might strike and or when you might have some free time. I've been using this brand called Le Franc Bourgeois, which is a funny name, but this is a really good granulated watercolor. Now, this thing cost me, I don't know, like back in the day, something like $10, okay? So, like a hefty fee. Now, just yesterday, this thing, a Chinese knockoff version of the same thing with the same granular paints, but 36 of them, it cost me the equivalent of maybe $5. Unbelievable value for money. And to top that off, I paid $5 more and got these amazing aqua brick Cretacolor gouache paints, which is an awesome sort of body paint. So when you look at these things, the background is just maybe one brush loaded with the gouache. Okay, so you just go chick, chick, chick, chick. And then the fine colors and the detailing, it just comes from the Chinese knockoff and the Le Franc Bourgeois versions. I just really like the setup. The lines are done with a sort of just regular charcoal, to be honest. And then when you mix them in, it's just an awesome, like I found a way of production for art that I like and I could reproduce. So yeah. On Film says, don't put me in the glory hole. I'm sorry, I don't know. Boris Chonev says, as an artist, what do you think about making your work your main source of income? Some argue that when you do that, you are motivated to do better artwork and you can truly develop your skills. I will give a caveat answer to this one. I will say, and this is very sad, but I will say, if you live in the United States or in maybe one or two European countries, then actually you will get rewarded for being a better painter, being a more skilled painter, being a more skilled artist. But even in those countries, you're just reduced to chasing grants or like basically sniffing after other people's tails. If you have your own work, if you have your own voice, if you have your own visual language, then in those countries maybe you can get a living. But the thing is, this thing doesn't start smoothly. Like you have to sink a lot of years just not making any money. And then if you get good enough, and it's an if, but if you get good enough, then you will start earning. But in the beginning, it's always shaky. And it's equal mix of skill and luck. And in my perspective, if I had to paint for a living, and when I started being a professional painter, when I started being like an artist, basically more than 13, 14 years ago, when I had my first solo exhibit, that's my like, when I had my first solo exhibit of my surreal paintings, I think my own measure of success was like in an exhibit, there are some costs, even as an artist, you need to pay for the framing, for example. Then the gallery used to take half of my income. But still, in every exhibit, I made a profit actually. But it's still not enough because, well, you have one exhibit a year, one big exhibit a year, and it's just like it doesn't start smoothly. Like you can't pay the rent, even when the economy was good. Like it was not sustainable. Now, I don't know. Now I don't think I can like make all of my living from art still. But if you support me on Patreon, or if you've been watching and if you feel like buying Daddy Kozman a cup of coffee, oh, I'd be so, so happy. And I think not doing art for entirely for money is actually liberating, because in the beginning, in the first phases of your career, no, but there's no chance in hell somebody's going to like pay for this all the time. If you pay people's pets or kids, you'll make a lot of money. So yeah. Alexandra Venegas asks, your top 3 must read books. Well, there are many, but I would have to include uh, Star Maker by Olaf Stapledon. That's Stapledon, Stapledon. And he has another book called Last and First Man. Like these are amazing. I count those as one book. Another book you must read, I think, is Edward Gibbon's Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. It's a very long, like multi-volume history of the Roman Empire, but man, does that man write? It's an amazing composition. And then number 3, I don't know. Let me just think. Number 3 would be Wayne Barlow's Guide to Extraterrestrials, his Expedition. Barlow is written Barlowe. So Guide to Extraterrestrials, Expedition, and then he's got another book about hell. And these are art books, but they're just amazing books. They must be in your library. Lord of Staples, says YJ. Yeah. Blake Richardson says, I started designing the creatures in my book project. In a short time, I had 18 creatures done. Well, that's the Kozman effect. I hope I inspire you. Polyps Conglomeration says, Olaf Stapledon's books are like the All Tomorrows of the 1930s. Oh man, I don't think I can ever hold a candle to Olaf Stapledon, at least not now. Angus Day says, hi, hello. Balit Benke says, they've just been watching my videos for a decade now. Thank you. Man, thank you. I mean, that's just amazing. I had a long day traveling in trains and shit today. Does it show? Do I look tired? Oh, man. Let's get some coffee in me, because I'm a bit tired. Where's everybody from? 28 of you. Let's do our global roll call while I check my messages and shit. Ben Jackson says, sleepy Daddy Kozman. Yeah. You got me beat. Okay, let's check some messages and shit. All right. Yeah, just a second. Yeah, everybody's giving their heads ups. Doug of a Pato is from Texas. Alexandra Venegas says, how do you do the effects? It's built into this computer. It's really silly. If you do like this, I give you love. If you do like this, you get explosions. But whatever. Huh. Then if you do something like a fist, I don't know. I guess there's a few more. I just don't know. KS says, hello, hello, hello. Polyps Conglomeration says, I'm from Texas and I've only ridden in train once because Texas is all about cars. America is all about cars and only about cars, which is cool. Safe Blender Max says, Merhaba abi. Hello, my friend. From this, I assume you're from the glorious Republic of Turkey. Solaris Leo says, greetings from Colombia. Heads up, my load of big respect to all South American and Mesoamerican friends. Boris Chanev is from Sofia, Bulgaria. Greetings from Charigrad, my dear friend. I hope I can visit you someday. Angus Day is from Yeşil Bursa, the green city of Turkey. Actually, a very like cool, nice city. Faiza Ansari, oh my God, we got a celebrity in our midst. I'm so proud to have you here. It's a lovely sight to see you in my chat, and I can all I can say is like, what good did I do to deserve this? To be graced by your presence. Balint Benke is from Slovakia, represent. Benny is from Germany. Safe Lander is from Merzimbro, based Güneyli. Friend, hello. Blake Richardson is from Michigan, USA. Man, that's a nice state. Nice state. Lots of urban expedition. Lots of ruined factories to haunt. Alexandra Venegas is from Mexico. That's lovely. Hayden A is from the great state of Oregon. Having driven from the coast of Oregon, I can attest, and it's lovely. Lovely, like a paradisical place. Unbelievable. Popular is in LA today. Just decided to be there. Well, have fun. Digital Banyo is from Beep Beep Kayseri. Gardesh, one day I will visit you in your town, and maybe I can even do a live stream from there. Taco Peitos says there's a Texas Eagle that runs through San Antonio to Dallas. Oh, that's the train. Yeah, look, I watched a lot of American train ride videos, and once, like years ago, I took a train from basically New York City to one of the gentrified towns just on the border of Pennsylvania and I think New York. It was a nice ride. But American trains are so dirty. I just stepped off a Turkish train today, and the ticket cost like literally like $4 or some shit. And it's so clean. They serve food. Everybody's very friendly. Barit Benke says, what kind of computer do you use? It's one of the MacBook series. Oh yes, lots of space news. Okay, so yesterday was the 20th of January 2024. There was lots of space news. A Turkish astronaut was sent up with a sort of American affiliated private mission, private if you believe that sort of stuff, to space, where he did a lot of experiments and stuff. But I mean, for everybody who's from Turkey, this must be a matter of pride. I was very happy to see this. A lot of people try to like pull it in different directions. And yes, to a degree, it is PR, okay. But so, okay, so what? So what? I mean, I was happy. And then Japan landed a moon vehicle on the moon. Now, that was actually the more based space news because they did that all with their own technology, whereas the Turkish government just paid this company to take this astronaut up on space. But it was a matter of pride. And the Turkish government has a number of science initiatives like that. Like a few years ago, they established a base or a research station in Antarctica. And it's just like, with what limited means they have in terms of money and human resources, they're still trying to do like big state acts and big state displays of power, which, as a person residing in this part of the world, I find non-harmful, if not cool. So yeah. And yeah, the Japanese rover is out of power. Yes. Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Did you check out the cool industrial ruin I talked about on the Rhodos video, says Ben Jackson? I think I did, but need to go back on it. YJ says there's occasional noise in the audio. I hope you all hear me clearly. And we got 34 people. Hello. Some of you are lurkers. Why don't we play this game? Okay. I got a sheet of paper here. You will never know what's on this sheet of paper. But if one of you lurkers emerge and says, I've been lurking and now this is my first comment or whatever, then I will reveal it. So come on, lurkers, let's play this game. There's some questions about planet 4546b. We will get there. But I'm just waiting for lurkers to show themselves. Noah Turner says, I've been lurking. You don't count. I've known you. KS just showed the drawing. Harry Oldroyd says, I have been lurking. Okay, I take that. Noah Turner says, I'm sick on the toilet. My brother in Christ, if you're sick on the toilet, I don't know if you're letting go from the top or the bottom, but why are you on a smartphone? Let that shit go. Let that shit go. Drop it, vomit, take that nice diarrhea water slide ride, let it all out, then get a lot of water in you, relax. So because of Harry Oldroyd, now I will show you what's going on. It was just a random sketch page. There's this creature that looks like some reptile and shit. A lot of experiments with markers and alcohol. If you use markers and then just spray cologne on them, why don't we do a test actually? They melt and get this groovy effect. So I always carry this bottle of cologne on me. My love, look at this brand. My love, 80% lemon cologne. Let's see what my love can do to an unsuspecting drawing. Boom! Oh shit! It's gotten all over my pants. But if you see, the reaction is already started. It's dissolving a little. Well, maybe not this. What about this? Boom! Boom! All right. Oh yeah, I also have no compunctions about ruining my work. I mean, I made it. I get to destroy it. Don't fucking care. Anyways, it's gonna take too long to show, but if you spray alcohol on your drawings, you get these hazy, cool effects. And then if you scan them and invert them, it looks like lightning. And then for Henry Oldroyd's lurker comments, you also get to this. get to see this imaginary sexy scene. I don't know what they're doing under the light of the pyramids. Seen the pyramids along the Nile. Na na na na na na na na. That's a nice song. Noah Turner says, I gotta be on the stream. My brother in Christ, you gotta stream something else first. You can always watch the replays. So let's look at this planet 4546b. Oh, this is the planet from that nice computer game, Subnautica. In that game, my very good friend and one of my favorite artists, Alex Rees, Ries, was the lead creature designer, and I really love his work. One day, I believe it, there's going to be an email or phone call. They're gonna say, ring, ring, ring, ring. I say, hello. And I will say stuff like, speaking. And then they will be like, yeah, we're calling from Lucasfilm or shit. I believe it. This two things sustain me. One of them is your love. Another one is this hope that someday I'm going to get a call from a big production, preferably in the States, for a game or a movie or some shit, and they'll make use of my extensive creature designing abilities. Alexandra Venegas says, longish hair. Solaris Leo says, Daddy Cosmos smells like lemons, confirmed. I'll also show you another brand that I like. So I was in the Turkish city of Eskişehir this afternoon, and I had some, a lovely meat dish. And of course, if you have meat dishes in Turkey or in the Mediterranean world in general, you have to chase that up with some turnip juice. And I ordered some turnip juice, which was locally grown. It's like a local product, tasted great. Turnip juice looks like blood and kind of tastes like blood too. So this was the brand. Turnip juice. Soak içiniz, drink cold and spicy. Unbelievable. I love this logo, this design, this sort of like Turkish core design sensibility. Like a strange combination of literal representation, mismatching colors, and it's just, they also have their own sense of aesthetics too. I mean, just, I'm not making fun or anything. Like, look at these arrangement of these turnips and the barrel. This sort of like staggered sideways arrangements, they also use them in Turkish carpets and rugs. Sort of like symmetrical repetition. It's a salient mark of the Turkish psyche or Anatolian psyche. It's nice. So I really like this turnip. Now, if you've been watching, please comment turnip supremacy, so I know whose side you're on. Turnip rules, okay, but not turnip, turnip. And then here's the brand slogan. It's natural, it's without additives, and it is health. And this last word is interesting. It's not healthy, it is health. So when you imbibe turnip, you imbibe health straight from the teeth of Asclepius himself. Turnip, yes. Turnip rules, turnip number one. Also, please find the website of this turnip producers and send them an email saying where you are from and tell them you really like their turnip juice. They will be happy. I've been canceled for drinking turnip juice without spicy flavors. Well, all right. Turnip number one. Where did you drink this at Eskişehir though? Oh, it was at this, let me find, at this really nice I had the turnip juice at Nazar Kebab since 1967. It's a really nice place. It looks like one of those small Japanese family-run restaurants, but unbelievable. And the decoration has not been changed since 1967. Alexandra Vanegas says, "When is your exhibit in Mexico?" I hope soon. If you can hook up a connection, I would love to go there. So yes, these are our sponsors today. Blake Richardson says, "I just ate 75 bells." Yeah. Either get your stomach rinsed, or you don't need to be over the top to be my friend. All right, turnip rules. The question is, what can this cologne and Mr. Kozeman to an unsuspecting ladies walking by? I don't know. I don't have a sense of smell, by the way. I keep telling this. I have a condition called congenital anosmia, which just I cannot smell anything. I have never smelled anything. So yeah. But if you smelled me, I hope you found it to your liking. Let's check some more messages and stuff. Just a second. All right. If you can't smell, how is your sense of taste? Maybe it has a lower resolution. I mean, I've always, if I have a salty snack, I like it extra salty. If I have a sweet snack, I like it extra sweet. So I think I have a lower threshold of taste. I'm a visual person. I mean, I cannot smell. Like years and years ago, when I was just in my early 20s, I remember like being in a group of friends and somebody was harping on about, if you can't smell, you will never find love or something like that. Yeah, I agree with Gavin Tidwell, who says, of all the senses one can give up, smell is probably the one. I love smells, but smelling isn't top tier. Yeah, true. Plus, you avoid a lot of shits like sewage and stuff. Like, I love exploring abundant places, and believe me, believe me, not being able to smell is a blessing. Imagine not smelling shit. That's the life. Yeah, don't take shit from nobody. Hede 58 says, 56 says, Khan says, interesting, you are suited to be a snake hunter. Is this my biological brother Khan who has the same name? Probably not. If you have found love, says Hede 56, and it's in your pocket, I don't know what you're meaning. I don't know what you're getting at. Do you mean I don't have anything in my pockets? Oh yes, snakes do smell bad because they have a kind of like shitty musk thing that comes out of their anuses when they're afraid. And I've been told that this smells bad, but yeah. Oh, okay. The love in my pocket was the lemon cologne, which is my love. Like once again, it's very similar. I can teach an entire class about Turkish vernacular graphic design. I mean, just look at these amazing examples. I'm really not making fun of these things, but just look at the number of strange font choices, the choices of colors, the inclusion of natural elements in repetitive motifs, the lack of a background as a real image. The background is almost always a flat color or a pattern. And then there are like, I mean, this is just, I love this thing. And people who've been educated in graphic design, of course, if you know one thing, if you're educated in anything, actually part of your soul is closed forever. And people who are educated in graphic design in Turkey actually always look down on this like local vernacular design companies. They say, oh, they're like these bumpkins, look how funny. They like it because in their mind, because they've been educated by in the Western canon mostly, they think if it's not like some sort of Stefan Sagmeister minimalist shit or like some like futuristic shit, they assume it's bad. But actually, those designs, those vernacular designs, they got a lot they can teach us. If you are a Turkish follower and if you have plans in doing a master's study or beyond, a doctorate in graphics design, you could help maybe study, codify, and systematize these elements of vernacular Turkish design. I think they're great. Polyps Conglomeration says, I gotta go now. My girlfriend is coming over in about 10 minutes. I was glad I was able to tune in this week. Well, have a nice time, my friend. And if your girlfriend is coming over, offer her a glass of water when she steps in the house. She must be tired from driving or whatever. Dream pet. Oh, I don't know. I'm I'm a bit reluctant about keeping animals as I age because they die and it's very sad. Like when you're younger and your goldfish dies, you can't take it. When you're older, a couple of years ago, my little gecko died. I caught a gecko from the street and kept it. It died, and it was just so sad. I mean, this little animal, I was crying. So I don't know. That's the thing. But in an ideal world, maybe a blue-tongued skink would be a good dream pet. They're like these small lizards. They're not small. They're big lizards that are really chunky and cute. So I like those. I like I like old dogs who are like very square shaped and silly, and they're just adorable. I love old dogs in general. I also love cats, of course. You can't have too many. But you see that Ananem cat? I lived with her for a while, and she's just like, ugh. At night, they get the zoomies. I mean, so I don't know. I love cats, but if I am to have a cat, the cat must have a yard to go out in. They fuck up your sleep schedule. Khan asks, when you say you like stupid, silly small dogs, do you like Dashuns? Dashuns, personally, for me, are in the lower tier. I'm more of a pug guy. Oh, oh, It just sits and it's just like, eh. Digital Banyo says the local Turkish brand designs are so kitsch. I love them. That's good. But the thing is, they're actually not kitsch. They're actually quite based. They get the point across. Kitsch is something, I don't know. Let's have our design class later. Okay. Doug of a Pato says, if snakes have a smelly anal secretion, then me and snakes have something in common. Come on. How is the winter treating you, by the way? A lot of many places around the world are experiencing cold waves these days, these weeks. How is it going for you? How is the winter treating you? Let's talk about that. Boris Chonev says, hug your cat and tell her you love her. I did that earlier, but I will. Popular says, thoughts on Chihuahuas. They get a bad rap, but they're okay. They're okay. I mean, and like these last decades, there are even some micro Chihuahuas, which are even like smaller than Chihuahuas. They're like little rats. I like them. Doug of Apeto says, the cold wave in Oregon last week was horrible and there were power outages, but this time the power grid held up. Yeah, stay safe. Minus 18 in Bulgaria. What? Woof. Popular says there are no seasons in Southern California, with the finality of like there is no pain in death or something like that. Alexandra Venegas says, my baby girl was a Chihuahua. The last of her life, my condolences. I never slept, never hated or resented it. One more second with her was a blessing. And she was 15, 16, the same old as. Oh, I'm really sorry. I'm very sorry, Alexandra. As you know, all dogs go to heaven. And I'm certain that she's out there watching you, watching this channel now. Dark Lord says, things are terrible up in Nebraska. We got so much snow and minus 20 Fs. Fuck, that's Fahrenheit. How much is that? F2C minus. Fuck, minus 28. Off. It's really like you could do this experiment where you throw boiling water in the air and it just. That's cool. Raining all day, but weather is nice, says Digital Banyo. Enjoy the chill weather. Ben Jackson says 2 meters of snow so far. Man, where are you living? Gavin Tidwell says, because of the winter, a pipe burst and we had to fix it. But other than that, it's very enjoyable. I wish we could have a snow day for once. Yeah. Boris Chonev says, going for a walk with some steaming hot tea. It's cold, comfy as fuck right now. Great. Hayden says, my university's shut down for a week because of an ice storm, but back to normal now. Alexandra Venegas says, I'm in Mexico and I haven't seen snow. Wow. Well, okay, years and years ago, when I was studying in Cornell University, America, Ithaca, New York, it's a very snowy and very cold place. The cold was unbearable, actually. I literally would wear a ski mask like a goddamn gimp and walk around. So I had a friend from Guatemala, and this guy had never seen snow. And this was the year 2002. So I remember this guy, he was Guatemalan and very wealthy. He could afford a digital camera. And in the year 2002, digital cameras were expensive. So him and I went to the snow. And because this was an expensive early model digital camera, because it was also fucking cold, and the batteries kept dying before he could take a proper picture of the snow. So we spent the whole day with this Guatemalan guy just trying to take pictures in the snow. Our last solution was charging the batteries and keeping the camera indoors while I would bring snow in and hold it with my hands, and he would photograph it, and then he emailed them back home. It was an ordeal. Imagine how much more widespread digital technologies have gotten. But it was an adventure. And you see, because we have the conveniences of technology these days, we're missing out on many memories like that. I think, well, we are also having many more different memories, but it's a mix. Boris Chonev says, damn, 2002 was a different era. Fuck yes, an era I could, if I could, I would go back in a heartbeat. I wasn't even born back then. Yeah. Whoa, man. I was almost 20 years old. I was 18 years old back then. Had I known then what I know now. Somebody was asking about some Turkish phrases or words. Let's give some examples of Turkish proverbs or sayings. Yes, Alexander Venegas was talking about. So let me give you an example. So, like many other countries, Turkey has this tradition of proverbs or sayings, folk sayings, which actually reflect this very old, deep rooted culture of living. I don't know which part of it comes from the supposed Turkic homeland in Central Asia, or which part of this is actually the time old traditions of Anatolia itself. It doesn't really matter. But there are many nice Turkish sayings, and their sounds are also like, for example, one of those proverbs is a military proverb, and this may have come from Central Asia. It says "Su uyur, düşman uyumaz," which means water can sleep, but the enemy will not. So the morale here is, of course, be vigilant. You know, that's the nice thing. Then there are many others. Like, let me think of one more. Wait, I need to look this up, but there's one called Dimyat'ta pirince giderken evdeki bulgurdan olmak, which means losing the brown rice in your hand while trying to go to Dimyat for white rice. Now let's unpack this a little. Also, it's like, I think in modern life it's so applicable. You get these Dimyat'taki pirinç moments all the time. So back in those days, brown rice, which is bulgur, was considered a worse food than white rice, which was like more chunky and nutritious and white. It's kind of the other way around these days. These days, nutritious foods, wholesome foods, I think stupid and rich people don't find them entertaining. So you got the whole disastrous understanding of cuisine that's best embodied by whole foods kind of stuff. Like, they make worse shit, drier, less tasty. They package it in like more stupid packaging, and they dare call it healthy. Anyways, I'm branching out too much. So look, white rice was good and brown rice was bad. This phrase, dimyattaki pirince giderken eldeki bulgurdan olmak, you have brown rice. It's not great, but it's yours, Now you could have that and eat the brown rice. Or you could attempt to go to Dimyat, which is a distant place. Where is Dimyat? It's actually a city in Egypt today. And today it's known as Damietta, Dimyat. So you could go all the way to Egypt for some chunky white rice, but you would lose out on the homely whole grain brown rice you had in your hand, which was not as good, but at least you didn't starve. And it's such a nice metaphor. This whole saying, it encapsulates so much. It unpacks like a geodesic sphere. It encapsulates so much, but You still get moments like this. I mean, when was the last time like you went out like, oh yeah, let's go to that club, or like, yeah, let's no, let's stay somewhere closer, and then you say, okay, let's go to the more distant place, which promises more. You go there and you have a fucking atrocious time. That's your Dimyat'taki pirinç moment. So yeah. In Bulgaria, says Boris Chonev, you can sometimes hear the word dushman in old poems and text. Dushman means enemy or foe, and I think it's one of the many words that centuries of Turkic overlords have introduced to Bulgaria, Greece, or Romania. Bulgur, I think, is cracked wheat. Is it? You might be right. Or it is cracked wheat. I'm very sorry then. The metaphor stands, but I always thought it was brown rice, but yeah. I guess Daddy Kozman has this like foolish, stupid moments too every now and then. Axe Jack Film says machine hentai out of nowhere. Did you type it in the comments instead of your Google search bar by mistake? Mr. Kozman, hi. Can you recall any proverbs or phrases with animals, fishes, or reptiles? Says absent fish. Yeah, there are a lot. Usually they're kind of detrimental, especially when reptiles are confirmed. There's this one saying that goes, koynumda yılan besliyormuşum meğersem, which means, oh, I've been keeping a snake in my bosom all along. It's like you say that when someone you love betrays you. Alexandra says, anime you enjoy, die to the symbolism. Well, I have talked about my favorite animes before. If you go to myanimenet, what was it? Well, no, myanimelist.net. Sorry. MyAnimeList is this anime website. It's myanimelist.net/CM Kozeman. You will find my favorite animes. Popular says, what's the strangest fruit you ever had? There's this pink, weird dragon fruit shit out, and it's kind of popular these days. People make fruits, smoothies, and stuff out of them, but I tasted it, tastes bland and shitty. Dragon fruit, says Bot Pirate, reminds me of a less flavorful kiwi. I agree. Yeah, it's like kiwi. Maybe it may even be in the same plant group, but it feels like a Whole Foods version of a kiwi. I'm a big fan of carops. You know those? They call them keçi boynuzu over here, or goat's horns. So imagine this like enormous, flat, black, dried bean-like thing, but it's actually very sweet. So you can crack it and eat it. It's nice. Alexandra Venegas says pomegranate or actual dragon fruit. Pomegranate, they're very common here. I just had some last week, so it's not exotic for me. Let's check some messages. Just a second. All right. Prickly pears, they're common in my part of the world too. I've had them, I've even had them off the street, like in the southern part of the country. You could just pick them and eat them. Gavin Tidwell says the strangest fruit I ever had was the jackfruit. I haven't, I don't even know what jackfruit is, but peaches and pears are so good in Turkey. Melon too. I agree. They're very. People living in Turkey don't get to appreciate how much lovely fruits and vegetables we have until they move overseas. Then they see. Alexandra Venegas says jackfruit is so good. Okay, I need to look at this now. Oh, it's that gigantic, spiny, giant bacterium. It looks like a magnified bacteria. I love those things. I love the images, but I've never had any. Apparently, it's a meat replacement too, says Alexandra Venegas. Alexandra Venegas has been the life of the conversation this stream, so thank you. Alex Jack's film says, what ruins a sci-fi story? That's a very good question. Generally, like, if this story is set in a like far different setting, but people suddenly start acting like college educated people from the 20th century, that's kind of like, I mean, imagine there are these stories of galactic empires and stuff, and like people still act like white collar office workers. That's usually also sometimes this is a whole other angle to look at things, but like sometimes people force names to make the story and the setting look more sci-fi-ish. Just a second, my father. I'm staying with him tonight. İyi geceler babacığım.
Ha, tamam yatıyorum ben de.
Hı.
Hadi iyi geceler.
İyi geceler. You are on live stream. Ha?
Mumu söndürüyorum.
Söndür söndür. Dad reveal. He's too sleepy now. Bak herkes sana merhaba diyor. Hello dad diyor. Çıkarayım mı?
Hello.
Dur bak. Al hadi. Okay, you asked for it.
Ya tamam canım.
El salla el ha. New character unlocked. Father. You met the cat already. Ben kaparım. Şimdi ışık iyi, set ışığı gibi oluyor.
Tamam.
This has been interesting. Much love and health. Thank you, Alexandra. X Jack Film says he's literally you in 20 years. Everybody says hello.
Hello. All the best.
Oh Lordy. Oh. Hadi iyi geceler. Bye bye. All right. Yes. I'm normally very private about my private life, but yeah. Yes, a father is always a father and a son is always a son, and nothing can change that. Do you live next to the sea? Says Boris Chonev. I mean, at the risk of doxing this location, I don't live next to the sea, but this location, which is not normally not where I live, has some proximity to the sea. That's all I'll say. Blake Richardson has sent me a photo of a snide creature. It's an interesting organism. Please keep on making fun art for all my projects. It keeps me going. I actually have some finished Snaiad drawings too in my holiday. I'll just give you a little reveal, but I've been making this thing. The painting behind me, asks Alexandra. It's by this Turkish surrealist. Bu arkadaki göte benzeyen resim kimdendi? Babacım, şu masada benim arkamdaki.
Göte mi benzeyen?
İşte böyle tekerlekli göt gibi bir şey var ya.
Cengiz Kabaoğlu.
Ha tamam.
Şey o. Dikenin hamamın mimarı.
Anladım. So this painting is by a local architect and surrealist painter named Cengiz Kabaoğlu. So it's
Arkadaşı.
okay. Onu şimdi söylemeyeyim öyle şey.
Tamam.
Cengiz Kabaoğlu, which is Kabaoglu. And I mean, in a lot of non-Western countries, also in a lot of for most people, the world of art is like France, the United States, UK, Spain, Italy, okay? But in actually a lot of countries like Turkey, places like Romania, South American countries, Mexico, Brazil, there are a lot of enormously talented artists with very unique visions that like you could really study their works, like they have a lot to show and teach anybody who's interested in art. And there's a kind of like cubist slash surrealist movement, mid-century movement in Turkey, and this is one of their works. It's not mid-century though, it's 1980s, but I like this thing. I call this the göt resmi, which means the butt picture, and like I don't know. Ax Jacques Film says, do you like Yoromouş Bosch? Yes. A lot of people assume that Yoromouş Bosch, you know, those weird Flemish Renaissance paintings with lots of demons and stuff, they assume they're like occult or arcane, but actually a lot of them are like these cartoons that illustrate popular sayings that were popular at the time, just like the white rice and cracked wheat thing we talked about. So a lot of them encapsulate those folk sayings in early Renaissance Dutch society with lots of morals in them and stuff. And he's just phenomenally talented. Boris Chonev says, going out for a walk. Good night. Alexandra Vanagas says, wow, I thought you had painted it. No, but I hope one day I can do things like this. Still have a long way to go, which means I'll live long. Mm-mm. Khan says, what about Bruegel? Also, another genius. Another genius. I mean, elder or the lesser. Both Bruegels are amazing. I'm actually a huge fan of Matisse and Picasso, names like this. Picasso always gets a bad rap because they assume he's the easiest artist, but actually, that guy had a lust for life. That's why he lived to be 90. Apparently, he also had like a very frail ego, but like, I mean, this is not an example to be emulated, but he just kept fucking and not giving a fuck and moving on with life. I don't know if I could be like that, but it's an evolutionarily winning strategy. And his work is just. Gavin Tidwell says, what do you think about Barlow's hell paintings? I think they're wonderful. You can just follow Wayne Barlow on Instagram too. Just like Google him. His Instagram handle is Wayne Barlow under slash the darkness or something. Just go to Instagram and search for Wayne Barlow. The thing about Wayne Barlow's hell paintings is I think they're autobiographical. So he had a divorce and remarried, and he was making the hell paintings during the time of his divorce. So, and then years later, he met another lady, and they were really happy together. And finally, he found joy. I mean, he shares his pictures with his partner. So, and now his hell paintings look more lively and vibrant. But if you go back to the oldest hell paintings, they're really dark and grim. And he obviously was suffering, like he was channeling something there. That's life. Amanda, hello, says, from what I know, Picasso was super depressed and hated life after his experience with war. It could be like both could be true. I mean, maybe that hatred drove him to his like soul destroying search for or soul destroying emotional abuse of the woman around him. I don't know. I don't know. Nearly an hour and 15 minutes. All right. And 24 people watching. It's always a great time with you guys, honestly. All right. Is everybody else also sleepy? Let's get a last round of questions. I wanted to do a watercolor painting for you, but I'm just a bit tired from hours of traveling today. Popular says, what's a prehistoric dish you would eat? Oh, fuck. Calamari rings from those giant ammonites, or maybe sea scorpion sashimi. I would love to eat those. Fruits de la mer, la préhistorique. No, fruits de la mer préhistorique. It's a French expression they call crayfish, squid, like seafood that's not fish. French people call it les fruits de la mer, or I'm butchering this, but okay. And it's just a lovely term. Succulent, no bones, tasty, salty. What is your opinion on Nanotyrannus, says Dark Lord? It has raised its ugly head once again. So, okay, Nanotyrannus is this fossil. It looks like a smaller version of T-Rex, basically. And there's always been some debate about whether this is an original genus or is it a subspecies of T-Rex or even a juvenile T-Rex. One thing we know is that Tyrannosaurs had a lot of ontogenic plasticity, which means they started out as like tiny dog-like animals and then grew up to be these gigantic predators. They occupied multiple ecological niches throughout their life. And because of this, their fossils can be mistaken for multiple species. But then again, if you look at the skeletons of a tiger and a lion, they're not that different. So, in that sense of thinking, maybe nanotyrannus could be a valid thing. But I think this whole debate is a non-debate. I mean, it glosses over the fact that this small thing lived, which was a very effective predator, and it had forward-facing eyes. It was a wonderful thing to behold. Hmm. KS says, do you have a favorite medieval torture technique or one you would hate to be in? I got a few I could put a few people through, but there are just so many of those things. I think the worst is this. I don't know where I saw this, but there's something like an iron light bulb that basically they make a victim sit on it and it just slowly opens with a screw mechanism and it just cracks the pelvis open. It's awful. I mean, I would also hate, like, if I was being tortured and someone came up with a hammer and said, I'm going to break your fingers. It's horrible. Benny asks, oh, we got a lot of torture aficionados in the stream. I didn't know all you all were this kinky. Alexandra says the rat, honey, and bog methods. What is that even? The rat, honey, and bog method seems nice. Like to inflict if you hate them. The one where they cover you with sweet stuff and put you on a raft. Goat licking torture, says Khan. Axjack films the one with the rats. Black of Pato says big spoon or a little spoon. Oh, I'm mostly a big spoon guy. Scaphism is brutal. I need to look this up. Scaphism, or the boats, was a method of execution where they put you in between two canoes. What? And they force feed you milk and honey. And it attracted insects and vermin to devour the body. This sounds like an allegorical form of punishment. I mean, maybe it should come back for top management of every Fortune 500 company. Greed. I mean, this is a bit of a hyperbole, but in my early career as an advertiser, and I still work as an advertiser, I've been in meetings with insurance companies where the insurance company people were like actively and nonchalantly complaining about our biggest obstacle for business is the networks of communication between people in society. This is what they were saying. To them, it was an obstacle. I could, I mean, if those people somehow were suspected to the whole boat honey thing, whatever, I would not shed a single tear. The cat is, did you hear this sound? Alexandra Venegas says, I'd rather not be tortured or do it. Yes, I mean, this thing has a grotesque fascination. But it's a whole other skill set to, I mean, I don't know. Where do you learn this stuff, says Pepulars? And Abstract Film says, Salmonella, yeah. Yeah, but all the like edgy talk about torture and stuff, that whole thing about that whole story about the insurance companies was really sobering. And it was one of those waking moments which convinced me that while I'm not a tanky or a communist, I just think shareholder capitalism as it exists now is dangerous. It's too dangerous to be allowed to exist for longer, much longer. So yes. Amanda says, you could work for the best and nicest company in the world, creating the most helpful products, and they will likely use shady tactics for everything and try to frame it nicely. It's actually a very nice and insightful comment. And it shows that there is no easy way to pinpoint evil in life or in society at all. I mean, there are some like very obvious cases where, like this one guy in the States, Martin Shkreli, he purchased a company that makes insulin and then like drove the price up 2000%. But usually life operates through this network of collusions and interests that you can't really tell where it stops being nice and starts being ugly. Humans in the heat of the moment think of the worst, says Alexandra. Yes, yes, very insightful. Alexandra and Amanda, you have been like caryatids of virtue in this stream. Do you know the caryatids? They're these two columns shaped like beautiful lady statues on the side of the Parthenon in Greece. Thanks for your comments. They really made this stream possible. Let's get some more statues, and not statues, let's look at some more messages. Totoro, Totoro. Akshak says, you haven't posted this stuff on Twitter. My brother, what are you talking about? Which stuff? I post daily on Twitter. I'm terminally online. One of the caryatids is in the British Museum, is it? It would not surprise me. Popular says, what plants would you all have in your ideal garden? I know lots of succulents. I am also a big fan of these Tradescantia plants. Just look them up, Tradescantia. Bromeliads, yes, yes, I would have them. Lithops, the stone plants, I love them. Velvetschia mirabilis. If this is a dream garden, then it would be there too. Velvetschia is just these two giant leaves. They're like this big, and it lives for 8,000 years or something. Orchids, and every species of orchid mantids, says Amanda. Yeah, bring them all in here too. Ben Jackson says, what do you think about woodcocks, the bird, and their silly dance? I love them. They're like these like birds with really long beaks, and they just walk like this. Wook, wook, wook, wook, wook, wook. And even their babies walk this way. They're just the best. I really like birds in general. I would like to have lots of moss too. Like there are surprisingly exotic varieties of moss, and I would love to have like rocks and surfaces covered with them. Jack Film says, "Do you think the Grim Reaper is Azrael?" Well, in Muslim tradition, the name given to the angel of death is Azrael. So, for a great part of humanity, the Grim Reaper is Azrael. But if there's like any other deep lore or some anime reference here that I don't know, I don't know. What do you think about the paintings of William D. Berry and J. Materns in the before the Paleo Art Renaissance? So yeah, J. Materns is, I think, one of the greatest artistic geniuses of the last 200 years. He has these amazing landscapes with pictures of prehistoric mammals, and I've seen one of his paintings in real life. It's just unbelievable. I also have his book in my library, The Art of J. Materns. William D. Berry, I need to look his name up. Oh yeah, he's like another perspective paleo artist, also great. I love this whole subgenre of landscapes with lots of animals in them. Paleo art or contemporary wildlife art. Actually, William D. Berry's dinosaur art, it's extremely nice and dynamic. And the reconstructions are a bit old, but it really looks like he's seen these animals in life, and he's not simply tracing skeletons. I'm getting really sleepy, everybody. Axe Jack Films. Oh my god, this is a question out of hell. Beatles or Frank Sinatra? I think the Beatles, yeah, you cannot downplay their influence in music history, okay? I will grant you that. Other than that, I just think John Lennon was one of the most pretentious douchebags ever. His character is. Hmm, I don't like him. I don't understand the hype for Beatles either. Frank Sinatra, on the other hand, was like a certified card carrying asshole. Some of his songs, they're like very weird today. But if I had to pick, I would pick Frank Sinatra. And like, I'm sorry, I just can't like, I just not my deal. But I respect everybody's musical choices. Frank Sinatra also has like awful wife beater energy. I don't like that. Ah, you son of come on here. It's like this kind of like you could like really see him like drunk R-wording somebody and pretending it never happened the next day. So tough choice. Sing us a Frank Sinatra song before bed. I'll be loving you always. With a love that's true. Always. Days may not be fair. Always. That's when I'll be there. Always. Not for just an hour. Not for just a day. Not for just 1 year. Always. I like this song. So, okay, he wasn't a total asshole, you see. Yeah. Actually, my late maternal grandfather, my mother's dad, was a diplomat for the Turkish Trade Ministry. He lived in Rio de Janeiro, in New York, also Baghdad, Cairo, Berlin. He was a real ladies' man. And he would always, like when I was a kid, when he was around, he would always mutter these Frank Sinatra songs under his breath. And I could see how he would like remember things when singing them. Ah. Alo says, I just remembered you exist and you're here singing. Where are you taking us, Mr. Kozeman? Where we're going, we don't need eyes to see. I am just very tired. But it's great to spend time with you. I don't know much of Frank Sinatra, but I really like My Way, says Benny. It's not my favorite song. Any encyclopedia recommendations for animals and insects? Brahms Tierleben. Get that one. It's it's in German. It's an old encyclopedia, but it's Brehm Tierleben. Tierlieben. Brahms Tierleben. That's a great nature animal encyclopedia. Also, I think there's another called Grismek's Animal Encyclopedia. It's the name is Grismek. So Grzimek. Grzimek's Animal Encyclopedia. It's really nice. Bram and Grzimek. Neuro says, hello from Izmir. Hello. Güzel İzmir'e selam olsun. I like İzmir. I should go there again. Amanda Bopi says German is such a beautiful language. I agree, but I think all languages are really beautiful. Persian, Arabic, Spanish, Italian. I don't know. Turkish, Miskito. Oh, lots of languages in the world. Aksjak Film says Santorini or Venice. Well, I've actually been to Venice numerous times. I would pick Santorini because there's the sea, and Venice is so crowded with tourists, you would not believe it. It's just, there's no easy way to tour that place. But I like your questions, Axe Jacques Films. Very snappy and they make for great conversation. Lava Kaki says, what inspired you to become an artist? Also, hello. I hope you're having a wonderful day or night. Thank you. By the way, if you listen this far, please consider, if you're listening from a recording, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Mm. Let's check some messages. Oh, there's some German conversations going on. Mikin says, hello, I'm late this time. Hello, hello, hello. Ich weiß kleine Deutsch. Im Mittelschule gelernt, but not much more beyond that. Do you like Black Sabbath, says Extract Films? Yes. Dun-dun, dun-dun, in their masses, just like witches in black masses. Dun-dun, dun, dun, dun. Amanda says, universities in Germany are very cheap. I pay 200 euros per semester. Wow. Alo says, have you had more sleep paralysis dreams? I had some more weird dreams, but they're not serious enough to warrant a YouTube episode. But nothing like that. And I hope not either. Uh. All right, guys, last 5 minutes. Any last questions? Because my eyes are getting red like I smoked a blunt or something, but I'm just tired from the train ride and all the nice food. I discovered last week that I could actually make my eyes wriggle on cue, and it's, I don't know. It's OC2080 says I just joined. Man, I have lots of free time. We'll do another stream soon. Lavakaki says, what's your favorite medium to work with and why? Also, Larakaki asks, how did you become an artist? I was just interested in seeing strange creatures and then drawing and learning and reading about strange creatures. So it just developed like by itself, like a disease. Benny says, any advice on how to get started with storytelling? Be direct and to the point. Also, you can practice by holding. So, becoming a conversationalist is a great way to practice to be a storyteller. So, who are you speaking to? For example, imagine you go to a museum and then there's the nanotyrannus skeleton there, okay? And then it's kind of controversial. So you see the nanotyrannus skeleton, you meet somebody there, and you have a debate about whether nanotyrannus is a valid fossil or not. Okay, this happens. Now, as a storytelling practice, try imagining how you would tell this story to your aunt or your uncle or somebody who doesn't know or really care much about nanotyrannus. Do you start by saying, yeah, so there's this dinosaur there, that dinosaur, yeah, so in the museum there was that dinosaur, but there was a fight? Or do you say things like, oh, I had the funniest time. I went to that dinosaur museum, and there's something like a T-Rex there, but smaller. Scientists have all sorts of debates about this small T-Rex. Some of them think it's a different species, like a fox and a wolf. Others think it's just the same thing, like a baby tiger. So, anyways, I was there at the museum, and then I met this other guy, and we ended up fighting about what kind of T-Rex this little T-Rex was. And then we made peace and went out and had some beer. So you see how you phrase this thing, some simple event, you kind of rephrase it, you disassemble it and rephrase it in a way that's interesting and relevant, and in a way that your audience will care about. That's the best way. I mean, many people forget that goal sometimes when storytelling. So I hope you got some sort of an answer, Benny. Unsettling eye movement, but nevertheless, says Amanda. All right. All right, everybody. It's been nearly 2 hours. I'm very, very tired now. Time for me to go to sleep. But it's been a great time hanging out with you. I hope you had a great time. KS says good night. Good night. We will see you. I'll see you all in our next stream. So 3, 2. Are you ready to get turnipped? Let's end the story with a bang. Oh no, where's my turnip? God damn. Huh. Turnip is coming for you. 1, 2, 3, nibbed!